jana ranjana Yamuna tira vanachari Yamuna tira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. He's doing good. He's just hating. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Om Vishwapad Paramhamsa Parivrajak Acharya Ashtottara Shri Srimad Abhaya Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtottara Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Thakur Shri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Nama Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Ki Ganga Mai Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki taking over the world with Srila Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya. Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're going to have a brahmachari class because it's only, no, just kidding. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, text number 2. Soon, don't worry. I'll try to throw something in there. Etat Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vedam Varam Harehe Adbhuta Viryasya Kataha Lokam Su Mangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya Kataloka Sumangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya Kathaloka Sumangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya Kataloka Sumangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya Kataloka Sumangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya Kataloka Sumangalaha. Please repeat. Etad Veditum Ichhami Viryasya Loka Sumangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Tatvam Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya. Oh, that's it, you lost it. Kataloka Sumangalaha Etad Veditum Ichhami Om Tatva Vidamvara Hare Radbhuta Viryasya Taloka sumangalaha. Etad veditumichami. Tatvam tatva vidambara. Hare radbhuta viryasya. Taloka sumangalaha. Etad veditumichami. Tatva vidambara. Hare adbhuta viryasya. Taloka sumangalaha. Mataji's? Okay. It's okay, it's okay. Etat, this. Veditum, to understand. Ichhami, I wish. Tattvam, truth. Tattvavidam, of those who are well versed in the absolute truth. Vara, O best. Harehe, of the Lord. Adbhutam, Viryasyam, of the one who possesses wonderful potencies. Kataha, narrations. Lokam, for all planets. Sumangalaham, auspicious. The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies are certainly auspicious for all living beings in all planets. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the activities of the Supreme Lord, is auspicious for all living beings residing in every planet. One who takes it as belonging to a particular sect is certainly mistaken. Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly a very dear scripture for all devotees of the Lord, but is auspicious even for the non-devotees. Also, because it explains that even when the non-devotee is hovering under the spell of material energy, can be delivered from such clutches if they hear the narration of the Srimad Bhagavatam with devotion and attention from the right source representing the Lord by disciplic succession. This is an amazing Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tafatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Shahe Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminati Namane Nirjana Pariraksha Daksha Meenakshi Laksha Pishunamati Vitirnam Trahimam Kamagirnam Tavaguna Kriti Rupam Netra Karnadi Range Pratayatu Mama Divyam Tandavam Krishna Drishte Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Vagishaya Shivadane Lakshmi Suchivakshasi Yasyase Hridaye Samvitam Nrsimham Aham Bhaje Prahalada Hridaya Hladam Bhakta Vidya Vidaranam Sharadindu Ruchim Bande Parandra Vadanam Harim Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giram Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Yasha Deve Para Bhaktir Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyaite Katita Hyata Prakashanti Mahatmanaha. The king said, I wish to know narrations concerning the Lord who possesses wonderful potencies are certainly auspicious for all living beings in all planets. So, when a similar question was asked to Sutta Goswami by the sages of Naimisharanya, he says, Munaya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbhir lokamangalam yat krita krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati. Then, my dear sages, you have properly asked me the right questions because such questions are very beneficial. Why? Because they're in connection to Krishna. So, if they're in connection to Krishna, what do we understand? That they are lokamangalam. They are very auspicious for the entire world. They're very auspicious for the entire world. And because these questions are very auspicious for living entities in the entire world, these questions are worth asking. And because when a living entity is in this material world, he spends his whole life with questions and answers, questions and answers, questions and answers. We see Prabhupada writes that the birds and the beasts are also very busy right from with the time they wake up, questioning and answering, questioning and answering. The businessmen, so many people, they're all busy. They're all busy asking questions and answers. But unfortunately, they do not know what the questions are there to ask. What to speak of the answers, we don't even know the questions. We're so miserable in this material world that even the questions we ask are so irrelevant to our eternal benefit. They're so irrelevant. Now, how can you say this? There's so many people asking so many important questions like, what's going to happen to the environment? What's going to happen to the planet? What's going to happen to this and what's going to happen to that? But the main point is that they're missing the main point. That the main point is that they should understand there's not this body that's the servant to Krishna. Eternal spirit soul. Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Manashyasthani indriyani prakritam sthani karshite. The living entities are suffering in this material world for what reason? They're suffering in this material world for this reason, that they do not understand who they really are. They identify with the body and they struggle with their senses and their mind. But eternally they're part and parcels of Krishna. So when the living entities forget their constitutional position and are stuck in this material world, they are prone to ask all the wrong questions and get all the wrong answers. Prahlad Maharaj says that the so-called solutions that people give create more problems than the initial problem itself. They say you have one problem, okay, let me come up with a solution. The solution is worse than the problem. I think Shashi Shekhar Prabhu told us about this, and we've been quoting this so many times now, that the initial reason why they had automobiles is because there was too much problem created by horse manure on the roads. But now we see that automobile industry has created so many more problems than having a little horse dung on the road. Now such a problem seems like, oh, what an ideal problem to have. But we see that in this material world, people have all the wrong questions. They have all the wrong answers. And because they have all the wrong questions and all the wrong answers, they suffer in this material world. They do not know what is right and what is wrong. And because they do not know what is right and what is wrong, they actually go around preaching all kinds of false doctrines. They may be atheistic false doctrines, or they may be so-called theistic false doctrines. And that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this very heavy statement, which is right in line with the second verse of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Priti vite yaha kishu dharma nama chale, bhagavat prahetahan paripurna chale. That everything which goes on in the world in the name of religion is simply complete wholesale cheating, according to what the Srimad Bhagavatam says. Because it's complete wholesale cheating. Why? Because it's not according to what is given in Shastra. It's not according to what's given in Scripture. And because they're not understanding what's given in Scripture, then people are suffering in this material world. Yashasya vidimutsrijya vartate kamakarata nasasiddhim avapnoti nasukam na param gatim. That if we do not follow the injunctions laid down in the Shastra, what is known as Shastra Vidhi, if you are not following Shastra Vidhi, Yashastra Vidhi of the Shastra, Yashastra Vidhim Utsrijya, if you're not situating yourself in this Shastra Vidhi, Vartate Kamakarata, if you're performing all activities simply on the basis of lust, Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti, that you will not attain perfection, Nasukam, you will not attain happiness, Na Param Gatim, nor will you attain the ultimate destination. So, living entities are going around not keeping Shastra as their main point of attention. They're looking at so many other things through all these mundane, irrelevant, completely stupid means of looking at things. We're looking at things through our textbooks. What do they teach in our textbooks? That we came from a monkey. What do we teach in our textbooks? That everything exploded and then nothing was there and nothing exploded, and here is everything in the world and everything is happening for no reason. Everything is happening by chance. We're just a bunch of chemicals. We have to see what actually really makes sense. Their worldview actually makes no sense. Why? Because they have the wrong pramana. They're trying to establish the wrong pramana over and over again. They do not have a proper way of distinguishing what is to be done and what is not to be done. And the worst thing is, even if someone is a hardcore follower of some ism in this material world, it can be Hinduism or scientism or whatever it may be, especially scientism and all these things, they are followers of this, their standards keep changing. If you're a hardcore believer of the fact that of the ism or or the propaganda that they had initially. The cell is a very simple organism. When you're a hardcore follower of it, some years later you'll have to change your stance. So it's actually simply based on dogma. They do not have a proper stance. And then there may be those who may have faith in the Supreme Person. They may have faith that God is there. God may be there. Okay, God is there. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that there's two kinds of Shraddha. Anyone know what these two kinds of Shraddha are? That's right. Lokika Shraddha and Shastriya Shraddha. Lokika Shraddha means faith that you develop on the basis of what you hear from, it's your family tradition, what you see on TV. You may have seen like some like devotional kind of thing, mixed in with a little Mayavad. But anyway, all right, there is God. Okay, Krishna is there, Krishna is God. But there's also so many other gods. And then it's always like mixed with, some tinge of Mayavad and all this and all that. It's not based on proper Shraddha. It's not based on Shastriya Shraddha. It's not based on the faith of Shastra. It's based on some hearsay thing. And because of this, people are misled also. Now, like in India, there's a book about Lord Rama which is very popular. What is that book? Ramayana. No. It's something more popular than the Ramayana. Yeah. Ramcharitamanas. That is very popular. Oh, so many, they just go like crazy over Ramcharitamanas, and there's like so many people coming for Ram Bhakti, and like, they're like hearing Ramcharitamanas, given by so many big Dadu speakers, they speak, and like so many, like, there's one guy who like, he speaks, and every time he speaks about Rama, he's crying and crying. And he won't give a class if there's not 200,000 people in his class. Minimum, he should have 200,000 people, then he'll speak. Otherwise, he won't even consider. 100,000 now is too little. 200,000 minimum. And then he'll give Ram Katha. And then you love Rama so much, and you can embrace Rama like Sita, and then you can become one with him. So these kinds of nonsense goes on. Why? Because they do not use the Bhagavatam as the main basis. And you know what's even worse? Is those who use Bhagavatam as the main basis but they're full of misconceptions. What's this verse I'm thinking of? Yeah. Vedna maniya bodha hoilo nastik, vedashaya nastikavad bodha ke adik. Right? So, Vedna maniya bodha hoilo nastik. That those people who are Buddhists, we don't really care much about them. Why? Because they're openly Nastikas, they're openly atheistic. According to the Shastra, what is the definition of an atheist? Who doesn't have faith in the Vedas. So we don't care about the Buddhists because whatever, they don't use the Vedas as their primary pramana. So we don't really care about their opinions and all these things. But more dangerous than the Buddhists are actually the Mayavadis. Why? Because they preach covered Buddhism using the Vedas. Is Buddhism, they preach Mayavad in the guise of Buddhism using the Vedas. Therefore, they are extremely dangerous, the Mayavadis. Why? Because Jivera Nishtara Lagi, Sutra Kala Vyas, Mayavadi Bhashishunlai Hoy Sarvanash. Then in order to deliver the living entities, Veda Vyas wrote the Vedanta Sutra. But then, the Mayavadi's insidious attack upon the Vedanta Sutra, Sharirika Bhasya, if one reads that, their entire life and their entire perspective, their entire hopes of ever going back home, back to God and being freed from this material world are completely destroyed. Mayavada Bhashya Shunle Hoy Sarvanash. Everything is destroyed if we simply listen to this nonsense. So it's even more dangerous to listen to Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, he's speaking Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is nectar, Prabhu. Why don't we go here? Bhagavatam class, this person, speaks so amazing. But more dangerous than the Buddhists are the Mayavadis who may even use the Bhagavatam. Some of the most famous speakers on the Bhagavatam in India are Mayavadis. Can you believe that? They're the most famous speakers. There's such so many. Vrindavan, they have big ashrams where they speak the Bhagavatam and they do all these things. But what is the ultimate goal? It's nonsense. Avaishama mukodgirnam sarpo chishta katamritam shavanam naiva kartavyam sarpo chishta yatapayaha. That we understand this, that avaishama mukodgirnam, that we do not want to listen to any to a non-devotee speak on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because compared to milk touched by the lips of a serpent. And because it's milk touched by the lips of a serpent, although it may be milk, it's actually very poisonous. Oh, it's only 5% poison and 95% milk. Will we still drink it? No. We have to throw the whole thing out. Okay, Prabhu, we'll separate a little milk and we'll make butter from it and we'll make a ghee from it. No, it's all poison. You have to throw it all out. It's touched by the lips of a serpent. So similarly, the Bhagavatam, which is actually very nectarian, also becomes poisonous if it's touched by the lips of a serpent-like person. That's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it's recommended, Java Bhagavata Pado Vaishnava Rasane Ekanta Ashraya Kori Chaitanya Charane. That go study the Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who is a pure devotee who has taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Go study from them. Go study the Bhagavatam from a pure devotee who understands that there's a difference between Jiva, there's a difference between Ishvara, and there's a difference between Ishvara and Jiva. Understand this point. There's a major difference. The difference between God and there's a difference between the living entity. A person who understands this point, a person who understands that the ultimate goal of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A person who understands this, a person who understands that there's no need to struggle in this material world. There's no need to think ourselves one with the Supreme Personality of God. A person who understands this and a person who preaches from this point of view and a person who preaches the Bhagavatam, that person is actually worth going and studying from. Why? Because the Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about rasa. It speaks about rasa. Rasa, the whole purpose of the Vedas is rasa. There's a Vedanta Sutta, there's an aphorism. Raso Vaisaha. That you understand the whole, that Krishna is, you cannot separate Bhakti Rasa from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You cannot do it. But people openly reject, don't read the books of Jiva Goswami, don't read the books of Bhakti Siddhanta, all this. It's just too much jnana, it's too much knowledge. It's too much knowledge. We just want bhakti. That's why in Vrindavan there's this group of people called Harihita Vamsha, where they say there's no need to read the Bhagavatam, there's no need to read any of these scriptures. Actually, it's a waste of time. We simply sing the songs by our founder. And then we'll get the topmost bhakti. But all this so-called devotion is not based on scripture, so what is the use? What is the use? Proper devotional service, proper knowledge must be attained via the proper devotional line. Otherwise, we'll be stuck in a mess. We'll be stuck in a soup. Nivritta tarshaya rupagiya manat bhava sadat shotra manobhiramat ka uttama shloka gunanavadat puman virajeta vina pashugnat. That, the proper message of the Shastra, the proper message of the Vedas is heard in the Guru-disciple lineage. It's properly heard in the Guru-disciple lineage. And a person who is fortunate will actually go and hear from such a person. Otherwise, a person who misses such an opportunity of taking shelter of a bona fide representative, then what happens is that person is considered an Atmahan, a killer of his own soul. Killer of his own soul. So how important it is to be in touch with the proper disciplic succession. It's so important. Is there a Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava on that table there? If there is, I would like to see volume 1 if it's possible. Therefore, we have to understand this. Although Srimad Bhagavatam is full of narrations of the activities of Supreme Lord and is all auspicious for all living beings residing in every planet, one has to hear it from the right source. Otherwise, everything will be destroyed. Yes, the Buddhists are dangerous, but more dangerous than the Buddhists are the Mayavadis. But who is more dangerous than the Mayavadi? No. Go ahead, Krishna Kesha. Huh? What were you going to say? You were going to say something, Krishna Kesha Prabhu? Exactly. Vaishnavas Mayavadis who are in the guise of Vaishnavas. They are even worse. Mm-hmm. Why are they even worse? Because there's this very empowered Mayavadi. Thank you. There's a very empowered Mayavadi. His name was Madhusudana Saraswati. He was there during the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was this, he had heard about Lord Chaitanya and he really wanted to go meet Lord Chaitanya. It was all about, devotional service, this, that, and the other thing. And he went And he went, but by the time he reached, the Navadvip or wherever Lord Chaitanya was, Lord Chaitanya had already disappeared. So he was going around and he was meeting the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, very much inspired by them. Then he even met Advaita Acharya, And then, he went and he thought, Advaita Acharya, he got all the, and he thought, this, bhakti is so powerful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and wipe out Mayavad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the place where they have like the biggest Mayavadi library. I'm going to go study from there. And I'm going to defeat Mayavad completely. But then in the process of studying Mayavad, he became a Mayavadi himself. Studying Mayavad to defeat Mayavad, but in return, he became a Mayavadi himself and he got a Mayavadi guru. And he asked the guru, what should I do? He said, go and eradicate Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Go and eradicate this. So then he made it his life mission to do this. And, they speak, he's so much of it, like if you listen to his work and all, like 95, 96, 99% of like the whole thing that they speak is like all bhakti, and it's all like, oh wow, yummy, devotional and like sweet rasa and all this stuff. But then the 1% is Mayavad, like, oh, you understand all this, and then ultimately you can go and merge into Lord Chaitanya. You can go and merge into Brahma. Actually, Lord Chaitanya doesn't exist. Krishna doesn't exist. So it's very dangerous to hear from these kinds of people. And even more dangerous than that is that people who claim to be followers of a particular sampradaya, people who may claim to be associated with a very powerful acharya who came to save the Western world, who may be considered to be disciples of such an acharya, but they speak falsehood. That is the most dangerous. Just because you're initiated in a bona fide sampradaya doesn't make you bona fide. It's a very important point to understand. Just because your guru is bona fide doesn't make you naturally or automatically bona fide. The disciple should be willing to follow the guru to the T without any deviation. They do not have an opinion separate from the spiritual master. The spiritual master's opinion is their opinion. So we understand this point, that this is actually how we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, from a bona fide disciplic succession. Parampara jano bhalo mate. Be very diligent in understanding what the Guru Parampara is, who you're hearing from, where it's coming from. Otherwise, it becomes complete nonsense. And it always starts at watering down at the head of it. That's how upper sampradayas begin. Like we can think anyone associated with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his plenary portions, they must be completely pure. They must be completely like perfect. But no, we even see this in the life of Advaita Acharya. He had how many sons? 6 sons. Advaita Acharya had around 6 to 8 sons. And then, out of them, 3 or 4 of them were Paka followers of Advaita Acharya. And 4 of them were completely against what Advaita Acharya preached. At the same time, they claimed their allegiance to Advaita Acharya. The same sons, the sons of the same person. Where like one group, who was a bona fide disciplic succession from Advaita Acharya, they said, yes, the Shraddha ceremony is there, but in the Shraddha ceremony, the main thing is to feed the highest Vaishnavas, irrespective of where they were born. When Advaita Acharya had to do a Shraddha ceremony, so many people thought like, okay, which Brahmana is he going to give it to? Because Advaita Acharya has appeared in a Brahmana family. Which Brahmanas is he going to give to? He gave the Shraddha Patra, the offering that's done, he gave it to Haridas Thakur to make a point. That he is way above you nonsense Brahmanas who do not even have a molecule of devotion that Haridas Thakur has. Why? Because Haridas Thakur is a Namacharya. What? Tumi sarva guru tumi jagatera arya. Achar prachar tumi duvikarya tumi sarva guru tumi jagatera arya. There's a verse before that. Achar prachar kare na keha na kare prachar kare na keha na kare achar. Achar prachar kare na tumi duvikarya tumi sarva guru tumi jagatera arya. That there may be many people, and they may who claim to be acharyas, who know how to behave very well, but they do not know how to preach very well. There may be some people who know how to preach very well, but they do not know how to behave very well. But you, Haridas Thakur, are the guru of the entire world because you do these 2 things perfectly in relationship to the holy name. Therefore, you deserve to get this Shraddha Patra. You're the pure devotee, you're the Namacharya. And by you taking it, what to speak of my immediate forefathers, all my forefathers will get love of God. So what's the use of feeding these Brahmanas? And he gave the Shrat Patra to Haridas Thakur. Advaita Acharya Prabhu, he would have some mock fights with Lord Nityananda. And everyone knows of a mock fights. It's not like, oh, really, Advaita Acharya hated Lord Nityananda. No. They had this loving relationship for the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya. If you read the Chaitanya Bhagavat, you'll find there that Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya are fighting. Like, they're saying, Advaita Acharya cooks like a huge feast for Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And then Nityananda Prabhu comes and says, this is all you cook? What is this nonsense? What kind of a freaking Brahmana are you? And then Advaita Acharya says, you see, I invited Lord Chaitanya. I don't know who invited you to come. We don't know who you are. We don't know what we don't know. This is all in joke. We don't even know who you are. We don't know what your gotra is. We don't know what your varna is. First you're a sannyasi, then you got married and you have 2 wives, and you had a kid. We don't know what's going on. So who the heck are you? And they would argue, and then Nityananda Prabhu say, you see these fists? I will give you something special, like that. And they would have this kind of a relationship. They'd have this kind of a relationship. And Lord Chaitanya would get great pleasure, and he would laugh at their mock fighting. And the bona fide followers of Advaita Acharya, they worship Lord Nityananda also. They accept Lord Nityananda as bona fide. But the bogus followers of Advaita Acharya, who claim allegiance to Advaita Acharya, they say that, oh no, Advaita Acharya, he is Vishnu Tattva. We can't imitate him. Therefore, we continue to be Smarta Brahmanas. We will continue to not, he made an exception for Haridas Thakur, but we will simply go and serve the Brahmanas. Nityananda Prabhu is very offensive to Advaita Acharya, so do not worship him, do not do anything, do not have anything to do with him. Like this, they go on, and these are the immediate sons and so-called followers of Advaita Acharya. So we should not imagine and think that this kind of nonsense doesn't go on even with those people who may be disciples of a very, very extremely, uniquely powerful Acharya. We should not be so foolish. We should not think, oh, everything is pure, everyone is a pure devotee. No. It doesn't work like that. That's not how it works. That's why it's most important. How do we see our Guru? How do we see the Guru? We see the Guru through our ears. Most people try to see the Guru with their eyes. Oh, he's smiling so nicely. Oh, he has so many disciples. Oh, wow, he's so influential. He must be my Guru. And then they go and they hear from him, and the Guru may tell them nice stories, and it's all a beautiful la 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 land and all these things. But they do not care to see if he's in line with the Guru Parampara or not. If he's saying the same thing Srila Prabhupada is saying or not. Prabhupada spoke the Bhagavatam in order to free the non-devotees from the clutches of material existence. Prabhupada gave Bhagavatam classes. Prabhupada translated and commented upon the Bhagavatam for what reason? For the reason to deliver the living entities in this material world. To give them the ultimate solution to all their problems. This Srimad Bhagavatam is a solution to all problems of your life. And the more we apply ourselves to the Bhagavatam, the more we listen to the Bhagavatam from a right source, the more we can actually make a difference in our own spiritual life and the life of others. Shravan, Manan, Nidhi, Dhyasan. That Shravan, you hear the message from a bona fide source. Manan, you contemplate upon this. You think, wow, this is amazing. Okay, so, you contemplate upon what you're hearing. That's why Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he writes in the Brahmacharya and Krishna Consciousness, he writes, hearing with contemplation leads to realization. You hear, you contemplate, and that will lead to realization. You should contemplate about what you're hearing. And then that will lead to realization. So Shravan, Manan, and Nidhi Dhyasan. Nidhi Dhyasan means Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arana Koriho Maneyash. That's what it means. So these things we should do. We should hear from the right source. We should see, is this person bona fide or not? If they're bona fide, then we give our life to them. And we completely give our life to such a person. If they're not, then, no problem. And doesn't matter how they look. Doesn't matter, they may not, look like a big, They may they may not be flexing around the whole time. They may be humble as heck. They may be serving under someone else. But we have to see, drishtai svabhava janitai rapushasya doshai na prakritatvamiha bhakta janasya pashyet gangam basana kulu bhut buddha pena pankar brahma dravatvam bhagachati nira dharmaihi. That doesn't matter if the body of the so-called Vaishnava looks deformed. It doesn't matter if the Vaishnava is like a little like spontaneous or like a little like a little clumsy or something like that. The point is Brahma Dravatama Pagachati Nira Dharmaihi. Has he understood? Has he got the essence of what's in Shastra? Has he understood the essence of what's in Scripture or not? That we have to see. Brahma Dravatama Pagachati Nira Dharmaihi. We should understand this. Irrespective. And we should give our life to such a person. What's that verse in the Nectar of Instruction which speaks about different degrees of respect that we offer one person? Syat Krishna, no. Krishneti yecha giritam manasadriyeta dikshati chet praniti bhisha bhajantam isham shushu shaya bhajna vigyam ananya manya nindati shunarhida mitita sangalabdhya. We understand this. That Krishneti yecha giritam manasadriyeta. Okay, very nice. A person is there, he's chanting the holy name, we offer a respect to him in our minds. If he's given his life to a spiritual master and he's worshipping the deity and he's and he's doing all these things, then we offer a dandavat pranam to him. But then nindati shunya hridam ipsita sangalabdhya. That we hear and we give our very life and soul to a person who is free from the tendency to unnecessarily criticize others, unnecessarily criticize those who are actually following properly. And then, this is probably one of the most misquoted verses in devotional society today, which means that don't criticize anyone, don't criticize. Even if they're doing like the most abominable, horrible thing, don't criticize them. They're speaking all kinds of bogus garbage, which is not according to the Srimad Bhagavatam. But don't criticize, don't say anything. You're being offensive, offense. And they try to block your thinking by doing that. But no, an intelligent person discriminates. Don't discriminate, Prabhuji, you're not qualified. Prabhuji, you have to be humble, Don't instruct anyone. But then you tell them, Prabhu, okay, I may not be humble, but you're not being humble by asking me to be humble. Prabhu, you have to be humble. Don't tell anyone anything. Then, we should not tell anything to anyone. So you're telling me not to tell anything to anyone, and by doing that, you're telling me something. You garbage fool. What nonsense is this? And then, it's, just like we were saying, why you're talking and doing all these things. You do Kirtan Mela, we'll give you the mic, you sing, we'll give you some money, we'll give you nice prasadam, we'll have a big party. What's the problem? There is no problem. But there is a big problem. There's a big problem. Is we're not discussing what the Bhagavatam says. The Bhagavatam is a very controversial scripture. It's the essence of all Vedic knowledge. The Bhagavatam says so many things which will not sit right with ourselves and with everyone else. That's the Bhagavatam. But by nature, it's going to remove all inauspicious things. Shivadam tapo trayon mulana. It's all auspicious for everyone. But it's going to remove the tapatraya. All the things which are causing us difficulty and anxiety and binding us to this material world. The Bhagavatam is going to do that. And if you're not willing, this is a very heavy point to make, and I made this so many times, I should probably keep making this in order to preach to myself, that bhakti is very powerful. The Srimad Bhagavatam is very powerful, and it has the power to remove our anarthas. But if we hold on to our anarthas, we will be removed along with them. We will be removed along with them. If we hold on to our misconceptions, Srimad Bhagavatam clears all living entities from all misgivings. Misgiving doesn't just mean like a misunderstanding, like an innocent mistake. You're going to India for the first time, and then you may be under the conception that actually Mumbai is the capital of India. But in reality, Delhi is the capital of India. That's just like an innocent mistake. But then a misgiving is actually that you go and approach someone and ask them what's the capital of India, and they tell you Delhi is the capital of India. And then you think, oh, wait, is this guy actually telling me the truth, or is he trying to cheat me? Is he trying to cheat me? Is he trying to fool me? Is he trying to trick me? That's a misgiving. So Srimad Bhagavatam clears us from all kinds of misgivings. It frees us from this. It frees us. It frees us from so many misconceptions, illusions, misgivings that we have. And this is the Bhagavatam's causeless mercy upon us. It's a causeless mercy upon us by the Srimad Bhagavatam, because we do not know what is good for us and what is bad for us. So long, for so many lives, we've been holding on to illusion, thinking that this is the best thing that we can actually do. But it's not. It's not the best thing that we can actually do. It's the worst thing we can do to ourselves. Therefore, it's very important to be part of the bona fide disciplic succession. And the Bhagavatam is good for the devotees and it's good for the non-devotees also. Why? Because the minute a person comes in touch with the Bhagavatam, they become a devotee. It may take time for them to manifest devotional symptoms, but they do become devotees. It may take some time. Just a little bit. It may take just a little time. And it may be a long time from our perspective, but from Krishna's perspective, it's a short time. It's a short time. That's why, I was telling people, when the other day that I distributed 10 Bhagavatam sets in this, this body, mind, spirit event. I was telling them oh, I won't read it now. I said, even if you don't read it now, you will, by buying this Bhagavatam set, you will develop your eternal relationship with the Bhagavatam. Once you get the Bhagavatam will never leave you. So isn't it worth it? You should get the Bhagavatam. And then, then we were scheduled to give a class, and it was scheduled at a really bad time, and they informed us in the last minute. So, in this Body, Mind, Spirit Expo. So then, we were talking, and then she asked, are you guys giving any class? I said, yeah, we have a class at 4 o'clock. She said, okay, I'll come. So I went up there at 3:55. I was sitting there. I was reading or looking at a video or something. And then 4 o'clock, no one came. 4:05, it's a big hall, no one was there. 4:05, then finally at 4:06, she came oh, I'm glad you're still here, And then she came, and I just preached to her the whole time. And then after the class, she came and she bought the Bhagavatam. So I thought okay, this is success. Even one person is great. It's so much more successful than all this bogus nonsense which goes on in the name of God, spirituality. So much better. One person came, you preach heavily to them, and then let them take the Bhagavatam set. And that's the perfection of our preaching. We don't care. We're not about the numbers. We're not about this or that. We're about, okay, are we preaching the message properly? Are we preaching the absolute truth? And are people's lives changing because of that? Next day, the Mataji messaged me, I've cracked open the books. These are amazing. These are amazing. These books are amazing. Srimad Bhagavatam is the most amazing thing on the planet. There's nothing better than the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. It is a life. It is the life of the pure devotees of Krishna. There's nothing better than this. Therefore, when we absorb ourselves in the Bhagavatam, when we don't care for anything else but what the Srimad Bhagavatam says, that is the perfection of our life. Otherwise, Mayavad makes you crazy. Mayavad literally makes you crazy. And then the more you delve into this Mayavad and all this kind of stuff, the worse it becomes. You actually become a nutcase. And what to speak of if you mix Mayavad with sense gratification, that's the worst combination possible. It's the worst combination possible. I was just reading books. Across me, there was one Mataji, and she was this medium and an empath. And they do past life regressions, and they tap into your Akashic record, and they what else do they do? Oh yeah, of course, all that is there. Tuning forks and all that is there. But they tap into the Akashic records and tell you exactly about your life or something crazy like that. And I was just thinking, dude, these people are freaking nuts. And there's people who make appointments to come and see them. And like, they sit with them the whole time, and like they're saying something, and they just like sit with like some crystal ball, and like they're doing and they wear like a crown with like 5 different crystals, and they like sit and they like do something, and they're talking, and the person in front of them is crying, and all this is going on, saying, dude, these people are freaking nuts. But anyway, let me try to sell a Bhagavatam set to this person. And then, she was like, and I started showing her the books and all this, and she was thinking, wow, but like, but then I was talking to like one of her disciples practically, and he came and told me, this lady right here, she's the incarnation of the archangel Gabriel mentioned in the Bible. And I was like, what? She was like, she's the incarnation of Gabriel. Thank God I don't know who that is, man, because I'd like be freaking losing my mind. I was thinking, like, she's the incarnation, like, archangel of the Bible. What the hell is this? And then anyway, I thought, wow, that's so amazing. I thought maybe I can use this line to convince her to take the Bhagavatam. And then, I went up to her and I was like, miss, like, I heard you're like the incarnation of the archangel Gabriel. She said, yeah, I am. And then she was like, not only that, I'm also Shiva. I'm also Parvati. I'm also, and she started telling me like all these other demigods. I'm thinking like, I'm also like Durga. I'm also this and that. Thinking, and my friend on Facebook, he's only Shiva. He's on, like, I have another friend, she's only Parvati. And like, she started like talking all this freaking insane things. And then she said, like, I was meditating and I had a vision. Well, like I saw a person with like a half body of a human being and a half body of an elephant. I said, wow, that's Ganesh. He said, no, it's not Ganesh. It was like the female cousin of Ganesh. And she's on my party. And I'm thinking, these people are completely nuts. Like, what is wrong with these idiots, And I said, okay, miss, like, you have to buy the Bhagavatam and all this and all that. She's like, you know what, let me ask Shiva. And then she goes to the side and she starts to like do some crazy crap. And she said, Shiva's telling me I should not get this. But Shiva has a message for you. And I was like, oh my God, please stop this. And then she was like, Shiva has a message for you. And I was like, what? I was saying like, oh wow, what is it? What? And then she wrote it on a piece of paper. I am very pleased with you, my dear child. Please go on with your work. And like, she was like the medium to bless me through Shiva. I'm thinking this is so freaking dumb. But then luckily at that point of time, like her other medium friend walks in. And then like, I like started showing her the Bhagavatam. And I kept like the Bhagavatam 5th canto in her hand. And like the back of the Bhagavatam is like Kali, Durga, like, annihilating all the people who came to kill Jada Bharat. And then she said, I was just praying to Durga. I was praying to Durga. Oh, like she started like doing like this whole like Prakrita Sahaja Bengali stuff. She was a black lady. Started doing like this, oh Durga. Like they started doing this big show, and I'm thinking like, hey, miss, you have to buy these books. You have to get it. She's like, okay, I'm going to buy them. And she bought the set. I was saying, thank God, man. Like this is so. But Mayavad makes you literally nuts. And this woman, she's broke as a joke. She's so broke. She has no money. She was like telling me how much money. And like she's like, I thought you were like Shiva or like a pure devotee. If you read Shastra, all the devotees of Shiva is wealthy as heck. They're so wealthy. All the devotees of Lord Shiva. Shiva gives them so many benedictions. Shiva himself is very poor. The devotees of Lord Vishnu is very opulent, but they are generally very poor. That's like just our line. But she sees that, I'm seeing Shiva, I am seeing Ganesh, I am seeing Parvati. You can't give $300. Yes, you must be like, so like blessed, You must be like such a, but what nonsense is this? But there she was completely convinced that I'm seeing Shiva. And like it's full of these complete lunatics. It's complete crazy people. And and when you go on, like Nick, you want to learn to distribute Bhagavatam says to them, you got to act like completely like crazy with them. Like like did you all see some of the videos like I was posting from I am you. I said, who are you? He said, I am you, and you are me. I'm like, oh my God, bro. Please buy the freaking Bhagavatam, bro. Please, please. If you're saying, I will buy it. If you're saying, like, okay, great, fantastic. At least you're the good kind of insane. But like, this is actually, Mayavad makes you completely nuts. And these people, how do they hear about Shiva? How do they hear from Parvati? Something to do with Shastra, like somewhere something happens. Like you can't imagine Parvati and Ganesh and Shiva, right? Like there must be some way through which you found out about this, but you got the knowledge from a wrong source. Yeah, Instagram or whatever. Or like there's like this YouTube channel where like they say, why did Abhimanyu die at the age of 16? And then they have like all these, what is Ashwatthama doing right now? And like, they have all these like, like 30-second shots, like, what happened to, who is Parashuram? And like, some of it is like, bona fide and some of it is not. They see like a 1 minute like reel on Instagram and they think, I got it. I know everything. I definitely I know who Parashuram is, but like there's this whole like thing of knowledge. There's a whole thing of like who is Shiva? Shiva is not really a person, but he's symbolism and like this and the other thing, and like all this insanity just like comes about. Why? Because they're not hearing the Bhagavatam from the right source. But if they hear the Bhagavatam from the right source with devotion and attention, then their good fortune arises. Their good fortune arises. They're like, wow, this is so amazing. The Srimad Bhagavatam. I was just like, talking to Bhaktan Ali, like after, after our evening program, we were just sitting there. We were chanting, walking around, and like, he had some rounds left. I had some rounds left. We were walking around, and like, we were looking at the different pictures. And I just came, like, Nali, aren't you like really happy? Like, aren't you blissed out? And we were really blissed out from just like performing the process of devotional service. It's a real bliss that comes. It's not like some imaginary imagination, like some crazy thing that like these people, I'm seeing Shiva, I'm Ganesh and all this kind of insanity. But it's actually like a real thing. It's a real thing. And like, we should thank Srila Prabhupada for this life. This is a great boon from Srila Prabhupada. I was thinking like every day I really thank Prabhupada, thank you for this life. Like, you created this for us. Like we're really like reaping the fruits of Srila Prabhupada's sacrifice. We really are. And it's up to us to take the mission upon ourselves. It's not like, I'm not an initiating guru, so like it doesn't matter. But no. Like, Sakala neha mahata yoga nashta parantapa. That it's up to you. Once you're initiated in the bona fide disciplic succession, it is up to you to give the bona fide spiritual knowledge. It's up to each and every one of us to give the bona fide spiritual knowledge, to apply ourselves to the bona fide spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, what's the use? We're not mundane jnanis, where it's all about dry knowledge, dry this, dry that. No. There's so much rasa, there's so much thing involved. Let's say in Hindi, there's this thing called sukha roti, dry roti. Let's just say there's like, you're out distributing books or working in the field on a really, really hot day. And then you don't have any water to drink. And all you have to do is eat sukha roti, dry roti. That's all you have to eat. It's a very austere experience. Right? Remember one time we experienced that where like all we had was like some really dry prasadam. That was really austere. Like, oh my God, it was like such a... And the Bhagavatam is not like that. The Bhagavatam is not some like austere knowledge or something, but it's full of rasa. The Bhagavatam is full of rasa. And the more we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from the proper sources, the more we hear what we need to hear, the more of a difference it will make in our life. The more we can actually understand, wow, this is amazing. And then, if we sincerely try to present the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatam will get distributed. It will. It has to get distributed. There's no choice. We don't have a choice other than that. We have to sincerely try. I remember there was this person, he was Asian and apparently their country is called Mo or something like that. And some part of China or something, or used to be part of China, and then the Chinese came and took over the kingdom or something. He's Asian, but they look very different from regular Chinese people or whatever. And then, I met him on Saturday. I met him wow, man, he was so amazing, dude, please get the Bhagavatam. And I just had like a few minutes, and he was like the last person. I was like really like pushing like and forcing him to take the Bhagavatam. And like, he, so for some, I showed him, I did the whole pitch. He looked at the Bhagavatam, he read like a page or something, and he didn't want to take the Bhagavatam. I said, okay, like whatever. And the next day, the guy comes back looking for us. He said, can I see those books again? Because I think they're like really valuable and they're the real thing. And then he came, he looked at the books, he looked at all these things, he read a little bit, and then he gave $300 and bought the Bhagavatam set. The very next day. Because the minute you touch the Bhagavatam, you're touching Krishna. This Bhagavatam is completely authorized, it's completely bona fide. It can destroy the illusions of millions and millions of people on end. It can completely destroy these illusions. Completely, altogether. Everything will go away. Whatever misgivings we have, whatever misconceptions, it'll all go away. It'll all go away for this reason that although we are hovering under the spell of material energy, we can be delivered from the clutches if we hear the narrations from a bona fide source. It's so important for us. If we simply stick to this process, it's not so hard. It's not so hard. By distributing the Bhagavatam, by reading the Bhagavatam, by sharing it with others, we will make so much advancement in our spiritual life. So many sinful propensities will go away. Will go away. No matter how fallen we are, it's definitely certain that we're ahead of where we used to be before we came to Krishna consciousness. That we cannot deny. And, ordinarily on a karmic platform, we would probably have to take a few lifetimes at least to come to the level of, not devotion, but even to the level of habits and lifestyle that we have right now. How many people used to go to bed around 4 a.m. before? I used to do it sometimes. I used to go to bed. Yeah, fall asleep as a karmi. Yeah. I used to have this thing that, I'll fall asleep after I see the sun rise. So stupid. But, I used to have all these kind of stupid and dumb things like that. And how many of us used to be crazy after the opposite sex? How many of us used to be like, come on, bro, you're pure. How many of us used to indulge in intoxication? How many of us used to indulge not try, but indulge. Indulge in meat eating. Meat eating, don't joke. Meat eating, all these things. How many of us used to do that? But then to come to the platform of not having a desire, or at least like not moving towards that, how many karmic lifetimes would it have to take? The amount of sins we've committed, we'd probably have to go to the animal species of life, first go to hell, get like the whole like karmic reaction for it, then get into a body of like of some microbe, and then make our way all the way up to the human form of life. And then in the human form of life, if we are lucky and if we don't blow it, then we would eventually come to the platform of being part of a family where you follow the 4 regulative principles. Like really think about it. But Lord Chaitanya has expedited all that so quickly, just through devotional service. So understand the power of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya revealed prema from the Srimad Bhagavatam. He gave us prema from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a ripened fruit of love of God that everyone can relish and taste. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Before Lord Chaitanya came, what are the chances that a person who has no karmic qualification would get the Srimad Bhagavatam? Do you remember that guy in the All-American Tattoo Convention who bought 2 Bhagavatam sets? The guy who initially I got 500 and he came and gave another 200. Do you remember that guy? He was drunk. When I first met him, he was drunk. He had his alcohol in his hand, and he's a tattoo artist. He had alcohol in his hand, serving like the lowest kinds of people. He was drinking. And then, he came up to me. We met. I met him. I was talking to him. And then he was like, yeah, man, I'll take it. And then first during that time span, I got a $500 donation. And then again, he comes back and he gives $200 again. On behalf of his daughter, he said, my daughter only has 200, man. I said, yeah, that's completely, I don't know, either you're like really drunk or you're really favorable or both, But he did it. he was so fired. He took 2 bhag, one for himself and one for his daughter. What are this is like the direct effect. Just by the Bhagavatam being there in that convention, it purifies the entire convention. Just by the presence of because Bhagavatam is Krishna, he is there. Krishna is there, and he's all attracted. So many people that are walking by, they're walking and like the Bhagavatam is here, and they walk like this, and they look like this, and they keep looking at the Bhagavatam and they walk away, and they're attracted to it just by displaying the Bhagavatam. So many people something happens, it's like what is going on? What is going on? It's inconceivable. How can we conceive? How can we conceive that a person who 1 hour ago, before meeting the devotees, was like the most condemnable person in the whole world, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, he becomes the most worshipable person in the whole world. Because he's finally reinstated his eternal relationship with the Bhagavatam. How can we understand this? This is the Nigama Kalpatarur. It's inconceivable. I cannot imagine. Thinking, what is it? What is going on? What is going on? Something crazy must be there. And the more we dive into it, the more and more we realize, wow, there's something crazy. If we just distribute Bhagavatam sets, both to Indians and Americans, don't leave anyone out, but especially Americans. The more we do it, something crazy is going to happen. The more we pump out these books, like you could ignore a spiritual yoga, you could ignore a Bhagavad Gita, but a whole set of 44 books or 18 books in your house, how can you ignore it? How can you ignore it? It's right there. It's like, okay, I'm fine. What the hell is this about? Give this freaking guy $300. What the hell is this about? Did he scam me? And they open and they read the Bhagavatam. My God, what happens? What happens to these people? What's going to, we cannot conceive, within a short period of time, what's going to happen? Okay, they don't read it. But then, my grandmother has, if they don't read it, their grandchild may read it. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know, okay, you are going to be grounded in this room for 3 months, do whatever you want, and I'm not going to have your phone. And then I'm just going to, okay, I guess these books, let me just read the whole thing. At the end of it all, what's going to happen to people? What's going to happen? Do we realize the potency of this mission? Do we realize the potency of the Bhagavatam as given to us in the bona fide disciplic succession? Let me be honest, we cannot. It's inconceivable what's happening. Just see, look at yourself, look at your mission. Look at what's going on. Some granny in where were you all? Ohio, where were you all? Columbus, Ohio? You and Jacob were in Columbus, Ohio for the Body, Mind, Spirit, right? Some random old granny bought a Bhagavatam set from Jacob and also bought a Sapta. And I'm just thinking, dude, what, auntie, what are you going to do with these books? You're going to read, and they take the books, and Matsya was telling that, he told this Mataji that his whole set, a whole set is Krishna or something like that, right? That this, the whole, huh? Yeah, she just wanted to take one book, and then Matsya Prabhu told her, no, this whole set is Krishna, and you have to take the whole of Krishna, you can't take just a part. And then she said, okay, she bought the books, and she came back to take the books, and then her friend asked, wow, did you really buy all the books? She said, yeah, I'm taking Krishna home. You're taking the Supreme Personality of God at home with you. That's crazy. It's ridiculous, But that's what's happening. This is the power, this is the inconceivable potency of Lord Chaitanya infused in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then that potency increases as the disciplic succession increases. And Srila Prabhupada's words, Srila Prabhupada's purports, they're amazing. They're the most amazing things. Therefore, we should give ourselves to this process. We never know, even you may be distributing books in a Walmart. And then, I remember in Edgewood, when we went to go and meet Guru Maharaj after that day of books, yourself, myself, Ali, Krishna, and Nali, right? 4 of us, we went to meet Maharaj. That day, in that freaking thing, I distributed 3 Bhagavatam sets that day, and like it was just people just randomly came. Edgewood, the same place we were in yesterday, Vinay. And, yeah, one in the Kroger parking lot. Said, oh my miss, how are you? I started acting like some African spiritualist, and then I told her God is black, people don't know. And then all this stuff and this and that. I showed the Bhagavatam, and she's like, all right, man, don't waste my time, man. Here's the money, man. Leave me alone, man. Like, okay, I'll definitely leave you alone after you buy these books. And 3 people bought the Bhagavatam that day. This crazy dude with this crazy hat and all these spiritual jewelry all over him. I'm thinking, what the hell is this freaking guy doing? So many people will just come and buy the Bhagavatam like that off the streets. So the miracles happen. Miracles happen. The biggest miracle is we're still here chanting Hare Krishna. I'm just thinking dude, wow, I've been following the 4 regs and chanting 16 rounds for almost 10 years now. How the hell did Krishna must be God, because I can't imagine this actually. I couldn't imagine following the 4 regs. Can you imagine chanting Hare Krishna, doing the same thing every single day? Every day. Krishna has to be God. This process has to be real. Otherwise, how is it going to work? How does it work? So we should understand, the value of this. We should understand the great gift that we have, this great boon that we have. And we should dedicate our lives to distributing these books. Dedicate our lives to distributing Srimad Bhagavatam. And when we do it, wow, amazing. The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. So I'll end the class here. If there's any questions or comments, we can take them now. Yes. Abhimanyu Sudha Prabhu.
It's just a small comment on the fact that you were saying, a lot of devotees, when they distribute books or even Bhagavatam, they're thinking, they say things like, man, most of the people who get the books, they're not going to read them or this, that, but they don't put into, they don't factor in the point that the friends or family or the grandchildren will read the books. You were saying, it reminded me when you were saying, when you're grounded, mister, and you don't do anything. I was thinking, I was grounded for so many months, so many years, so much, and all I have is these stupid these Game Informer magazines, and they would just talk. They would just all these magazines. It's the most hellish condition. These Game Informer magazines are literally just reviews on video games, and I had just a small collection. I read them like 20 times. I was grounded so much. That's all I had. That's all I had. That's all I had. Imagine you have 6 magazines. You read them 20 times each. Every word, every page. I was thinking, imagine if I had a Bhagavad Gita, a Srimad Bhagavatam in my room.
Really?
A Srimad Bhagavatam. I would have read the hell out of it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how much time I wasted reading these. My dad would give me these crappy, he'd give me these crappy mundane books and made me do a book report, on them.
Oh my God.
These crappy books, he gave me this book called Moneyball. It was some stupid book. I didn't even know, I had no idea. I freaked out because I didn't know any of the words in the book, and I called my mom. I was like, what the hell? He's making me do this crap. But I was thinking, as much time, if you just have a Bhagavatam in your house, someone's gonna read those books. Just imagine if you have a Bhagavatam. I was just thinking damn, I just wasted so much time, just on mundane book literature. If someone has a Bhagavatam in the house, something's gonna happen.
Something. Crazy.
Someone's gonna read it.
Something crazy is gonna happen.
Yeah.
We cannot conceive. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna. So I understand that Prabhupada didn't really want the problems or issues that his disciples were having to be broadcasted greatly throughout the movement. So if somebody's deviating or having some philosophical problem, how do you go about telling the most people about that so they don't fall prey to the problems in the philosophy or the problems in the teachings that they're having without necessarily defaming their character or speaking poorly about them or things like this?
So there's an animal. It has 4 legs. It has a tail. It makes a sound like moo, and it gives milk and eats grass. What animal is it?
Cow.
But you don't say it's a cow. See, similarly, you just talk about the principle. That's the thing. You preach about the principle. You preach about, this is the proper thing. This is the wrong thing. This is the proper thing. It's the wrong thing, and then that's how you do it. It's not like in the name of protecting someone, you let the whole sampradaya fall apart. And the one other thing, it should not just simply be the main thrust of your preaching. Like these demented Ritviks. That's what they're speaking. People are demented. They're crazy people. They produce very colorful magazines, and the whole content of that magazine is all the things that ISKCON, all the problems in ISKCON, some real, some exaggerated, and some imaginary. That's all they speak about. That's like the entire crux of it. Irrespective of the fact that they themselves are bogus, the whole thrust of their preaching is how bogus ISKCON is. That should not be the main thrust of our preaching. We preach to them the absolute truth, which is reality distinguished from illusion. So you distinguish reality and illusion, and you present it to them. Then you tell me, is this person bona fide or not? You tell me. Like that. Okay. Anything else, Mataji? Okay, so I have 4 minutes. I wanted to read a passage from Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava. Okay? So, this is in regards to understanding the disciplic succession. Okay, so this is Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. This is the establishment of the whole Namahata or the whole parampara. So you just listen. Sri Sri Bhagavat Krishna Chaitanya Deva is a purifier of Kali Yuga. He is the teacher who gives knowledge, Sambandha. I'm going to try to mirror this so devotees can see what I'm reading. Is that visible? No? Okay, forget it. Okay, so he's a teacher who gives knowledge, Sambandha, of the method to worship himself, the original form of Godhead, who ascertains the path of devotional service and practice, and that Krishna Prema is a Prayojana. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Dev is Krishna Chandra himself, the king of the Vaishnavas in this world, the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. The gathering of his devotees is the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. The foremost ministers among the members of the society are Sri Rupa Goswami and his honored Sanatana Goswami. Those who consider themselves followers of Sri Rupa are the members of the Sri Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. The leaders among them are Sri Prabhupada, Srimad Raghunath Das Goswami and Sri Prabhupada Jiva Goswami. During that period of misfortune for the world's inhabitants after Gaurachandra displayed the pastime of disappearance, Srimad Jiva Prabhu, what did he do? He preached Sri Bhagavata Dharma on the command of Sri Rupa and Sanatan. Those who Sri Rupa Sanatana accepted as disciples became the leaders and later the directors of the Sabha. Upon becoming the prime director of the Sabha, Sri Jiva Prabhupada termed the teachings that Sri Rupa had propagated in the Sabha as a Bhagavad Sandarbha or Sat Sandarbha. Knowing the Sat Sandarbha to be the teachings of Sri Rupa Sanatana, members of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha thus perform Hari Bhajan. The pure and transcendental method of worship given by Srimad Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the leaders of the Sri Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha, by bearing the commands of Sri Rupa on his head, is the adorable object for devotees of Sri Gaura. By taking shelter at the pure feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, Sripad Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu, the king of the family of Rasikas, became the director of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. And subsequently, Sri Narottama Thakur Mahaday, the crest jewel of transcendental devotees, decorated the crown of this Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha in the post of the director. Later, such kings of devotees as Sri Sripad Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur spread their moon-like rays upon the Sabha. The darkness of night cannot always predominate over the three worlds which are covered by ignorance. The brilliant star of the universal Vishwa Vaishnava firmament re-illuminated the Sri Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. During the period, many people in the great city of Calcutta received light from the Sabha. As a result of that light, the sight of the cooling rays of Sri Gaurachandra reflected in the loving eyes is nowadays visible in this world. It is now 4 years since the servant of the king of the universal Vaishnavas and the leader of Sri Rupa Goswami's followers departed from this world, and sometimes his life is covered by mist. That is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Seeing this, those who are sheltered at the feet of the followers of Sri Rupa have become firmly resolved, so that's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, have become firmly resolved to protect the light of discourses on Hari from the strong gale. The transcendental flower of Krishna Prema that budded forth from the acharyas headed by Sri Rupa, Sri Raghunath and Sri Jiva was manifested to the world as a blossom by Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and after his disappearance, it continued to bloom. Sri Rupa's followers have protected that beautiful and fragrant flower from the attack of depraved people, and thus have aided the function of bees swarming at Sri Gaura's feet. In this connection, we request everyone to read chapter 9 of Adi Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, composed by the king of Rasika devotees, about the divine loving activities of the gardener of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the last paragraph. The members of the Sabha, this is very important, please pay attention. The members of the Sabha will not accept any service from those determined to oppose it. We don't care how rich you are, we don't care how much money you have. If your motive is to oppose the activities of the Sabha, we will not accept you. Gaura Sundara reinforcing their service, Lord Chaitanya reinforcing their service to Agasura, that's Agasura, Bakasura, that other demon there, Bakasura, and Putana within their hearts, will not give them a place in the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha. That all these people, they may have all these desires. So Lord Chaitanya will reinforce their service to these demons. We are keenly distressed for such persons and weep for them. Had it been Gaurasundar's intention that only Sri Rupa Prabhu should come to this world and that he should not have any followers, or that only the Namahatta of Nityananda should exist and not the Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha, then he would not have increased the number of Rupanugas. So understand this. This is upon us. It's upon us to protect this flower of blossom from Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It's upon us. And the way we do it is by distributing these books and living by them. It's not like we are all about book distribution, all about feminism also. No. The Bhagavatam is strictly against feminism. So understand this point. Understand this point. Siddhanta, Balya Chitte, Nakaro Ala, Siya Haite Krishna Lagi Shrudhi Damanas. Understand this point. Understand it deeply. Know the parampara very well. Parampara jano bhalo mate. We will not accept these kind of fools and rascals into the society. We will kick them out. The best way to kick them out is this Vyasa. Let them hear the class. So many rascals came. They tried to be here for some time. They hear the classes and they go away. Why? Because they can't handle the truth. So we have to keep the message strong. But in order to keep the message strong, we keep ourselves strong by making Srimad Bhagavatam our life and not compromising even a little bit, not even for a moment, not even for a second. We are in war. Even one moment of inattention will cause death. Even one moment of inattention. Anytime a bullet could come flying at you, therefore, pay attention. Vandon Mui Savadhana Mate. Pay attention to the instructions of the Guru Parampara. So I'll end the class here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha.